Peaceful Heart students, my karateka out there. Here we are, another week in isolation. I did go out to Rye Harbor again earlier today, and I did get some footage of the first kata, the Jodan, Taikyoku Jodan Ichi. So I'll be posting that with this as well. And I'll kind of be talking through it. I'm going to try narrating, which we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so I've got that that I'm going to be editing in. It was windy again, which is why I'm going to narrate over it rather than trying to tell you as I did it. For this section, we are going to do some warm-ups, our basics again, because we always do basics. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit, and I'm going to show you my bokken, my wooden sword, and teach you a little bit about some things involved in that. One of the things about etiquette, or a couple of things about etiquette, and also how samurai carried it with regard to how they were trained. So, but let's go ahead and start with our warm-ups. So we're going to start, as always, with some jumping jacks. I'm going to go with 40 today. I know we did 30 last week. If you can't do 40, that's fine. Just go ahead and stop wherever you can. My hope is to build it up a little bit, maybe not every week, but I think 30 to 40 is a pretty good jump. We have some energetic grasshoppers out there, so I think 30 to 40 is pretty good. Again, do what you can. Again, make sure before you actually start the basics too that you are stretched out to your comfort level. Make sure that you take some extra time to stretch if you need. Just pause the video and make sure you're all comfortable doing your basics once we get to that time. So let's go ahead, and we are going to do our 40 jumping jacks. And hajime. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, ju, juich, juni, jusan, juchi, jugo, juruk, jusich, juhach, juku, niju, nijuich, nijuni, nijusan, nijuchi, nijugo, nijuruk, nijusich, nijuhach, nijuku, sanju, sanjuich, sanjuni, sanjusan, sanjuchi, sanjugo, sanjuruk, sanjusich, sanjuhach, sanjuku, yonju. Whew, that's 40 of those. Let's go ahead and stretch out our legs. Like we normally do. Hope you guys are all getting through this okay. Again, as always, I remind my junior students to be as helpful and polite as you can with your parents, and give them a hand with everything. It's most important during stressful times like this. So make sure that you're striving for the perfection of your character. I don't know, it's coming through quite, but there's kind of a cool lighting pattern going. As my wife and daughters painted our windows like stained glass the other day. And they look really cool, especially now that the sun's back out. Straighten that front leg, bend over. And back on your heel. Up. Go ahead and bend down. Hang and let your back kind of relax. Stretch out a little. Roll it up. some circles with our arms. Go forward. Medium-sized circles. I'm going to stay away from big circles because I'll probably hit the wall here. Go backwards. Stretch across. Stretch across the other way. Up over your head. Switch arms. Go ahead and stretch your forearms. Basically just grab your hand with your other hand and kind of pull it over. Other forearm. Okay. Stretch your neck a little. Put one ear on one shoulder. The other shoulder. Look straight ahead. Tuck the chin under. Look up toward the ceiling. Look straight ahead. Left. Sorry, my left. Your right. Or you can look to your left. As long as you go back the other way, towards the other side. All right, I think we're ready for some basics. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice our basics. We're going to start with blocks and some punches and some kicks. I'll do the same thing I did last week. I'll do maybe the first 3 slow and then, I'm sorry, I did the first 2 slow and then like 4 after that, regular speed. So let's go ahead and kyosuke. Remember, kyosuke is left hand over right. As I mentioned in the samurai story earlier this week, samurai were all trained to be right-handed, so by putting our left hand over our right, we show that our intentions are peaceful. Feet are together. Matsubidashi, kame. Hands go to our sides, feet go to a V. Migi, sanshindashi, kame. We step out with a middle block. Jodan uke, upper block position. Kame. Just put that arm up, this arm in chamber. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Sich. Judan uke. Middle area block. Judan uke position. Kame. Bring this arm to a middle area block. Remember, you want a nice fist, and you want your fist at about shoulder level. Okay. Each. Ni. San. Chi. Go. Rook. Sich. All right. Jogi Ike is our lower middle block. So I'm going to put this arm in a lower block and bring this arm out to a middle block. And we're going to do a couple of these slow. Remember, the arm that goes down always is on the inside. The inside arm always goes down. Each, knee, san, chi, go, rook. Good. Nolte. So we're going to put our hands up, feet back in a V. And then down by our side. Good. Migi, Shikodashi. Remember, Shikodashi is like the horse stance, the horse riding stance. So we're going to sink. I'm going to put this arm up by our shoulder, this fist. This one is going to block our middle area. I'm going to step out into our horse stance and do what we call Gedan Barai, or a down block. And this is how we're going to practice our down block. So each, knee, san, chi, go, rook. All right, now I'm going to show you something here. This is another block. It's called Haraya Toshiyuke. And this is what they call a downward sweeping block. I'm just going to show it to you. We're not going to practice them. But you can run this part of the video over and over again and kind of practice. So it's basically, again, you come, you block the middle, and then this arm comes up almost straight off your shoulder and up like an L. And then you sweep down, and as that one sweeps around, you bring the other one back to chamber. So there's block, up, again, this Haraya Tosh goes right past your eyes, so that's kind of an easy way to remember it. Haraya Toshiyuke. Okay, and the sweeping block goes a little bit further than the regular one. It goes out kind of past your knee. So Harai. There. Practice those slowly till we get back together, and then we'll work on them more at that point. Okay, so Nolte, again. Put our hands, feet, and Masudash. So that is our blocks. Notice on our blocks we always stepped out to the right. We're going to start with our punches or our strikes. When we do our strikes, we step out to the left. So Masudash, Hidari, left side, Sanchendash, Kame. So we're going to sink a little bit. You're going to reach out almost like you're grabbing something. And then you're going to step out and punch at the same time. Okay, let's break that down one more time. So from the Subidash, sink a little, reach out, punch as you're stepping. There we go. So this is Siken, middle area punch. We'll do one at a time. Each, knee, san, chi, go, rook. Knee Siken, 2 punches. Each, knee, san, chi, go, rook. All right, now I'm going to introduce you to San Siken, which is 3 punches. And there's going to be a rhythm to this, okay? The first way we do it with San Siken is called Shomeninsky, which is to the front, and that's 1, 1, 2. So 1, 1, 2. On every count, that's what we're going to do. 1, 1, 2. All right? So each, knee, san, chi, go, rook. Excellent. Back to Nolte. All right. Moving on to our kicks. Remember, we do our kicks in what they call hikodash. Feet are just kind of comfortable. Edges are pretty straight. Shoulder width apart. And our hands are up in guard posture. So we're going to start with, a little while ago, we did something called a kingari, which is like a front kick, but you leave your toes pointed out. Okay, so we're going to do some of those, and then we'll go back to a regular front kick. Remember, 4 counts are important in all of these. Make sure you have all 4 parts of your kick. Okay, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to count out the 4 parts this time, but I will do the first couple of kicks slowly, so that you can kind of see those 4 parts there. So, all right, ready? Each, ni, san, chi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Excellent. So regular front kicks now. Again, all 4 parts. But remember, this time you're hitting with the ball of your foot, so the bottom of your foot. Each, ni, san, chi, go, ruk, sich, hach, ku, ju. Excellent. Nolte. All right, and that's our basics for today. Again, you can run these videos over and over again. You can do 10 of each. You can use them during the week to kind of keep practicing and keep engaged. That's why I added a couple of pieces this time, so that you have some new stuff to work on. So that's our basics. So this video is from Rye Harbor State Park. It was taken Thursday afternoon, and this is Taikyoko Jodan Ichi, and I will be talking you through it. First I do it slow, and then I do regular speed. And there's that first turn to my left, as I mentioned, stepping out and then pivoting, the upper block and an upper punch. Upper block means the upper punch. There's a 180 turn. And then we're going back, we're going up the bridge. Notice that middle stance is a heikodashi instead of the zenkutsu dashi. And there's the big turn. Upper punch. 180, upper punch. Then we go back across the bridge. Notice that heikodashi instead of zenkutsu dashi. Middle. Big turn at the end. And one more 180. Punch. And we come back to our yoi posture. And here it is regular speed. Okay, so if you watched the samurai video that I posted, the samurai story video that I posted on Tuesday, you heard me tell a story about Kojiro and Musashi. And Musashi, I had mentioned, did a couple of things that were different from other samurai. One, he had trained himself to be just as adept with his left hand as he was with his right. So he made sure he trained evenly on both sides, which is something you'll notice I do as well. I have you guys do just as many on the left side as on the right side. The other thing that he did is, at some point, it became not much of a challenge to have duels with people because he had gotten so good, and he switched over to using what I refer to as a wooden sword, or boken. A normal sword is called a katana, and they're very handmade, very precise, very, very, very deadly weapons. Boken is a practice sword. It's made out of wood, And I mentioned that I have one, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that and teach you a couple of things about it. We have a low ceiling, so I can't teach you a whole lot about it, but let me go ahead and, it's actually going to take a moment. I'm just going to grab a couple of things I need. First thing I need is my belt, because I need something to tuck my bow pen into. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Okay. As we get closer to the time we're back to class, I might have to do a video on how to tie your belt. That way, once you guys get your uniforms, you'll know how to do it. Other thing I'll need, obviously, is my bokken. Now this is my bokken. This is actually a case that I had my grandmother make for me. It's not really a case, it's a bag, basically. And I just got her the material and she sewed it, so she's not living anymore, so I wanted to kind of show it off. She did an amazing job. I basically got her a bunch of this material and I dropped all my weapons off at her house for a week. And I came back and she had made like custom covers for all of them, which were amazing. And I still use them to this day. So anyhow, so this is my bokken. Couple of things I learned etiquette-wise. One is when you hand a bokken to an instructor or another student, the way I learned it is you always keep the blade, this would be the live blade. On a real sword, this would be the live blade, the sharp part. You always keep that pointed toward yourself so they know you don't mean them any harm, and you bow when you hand it over. Okay, so other things I learned about a bokken is I always assumed that samurai would wear them like this, and usually I thought they would be on their right side because they were all trained to be right-handed. However, that is not correct. Samurai, when they wear their swords, they wear them with the blade kind of pointing up. Now, of course, they have a scabbard that it's in, so it's covered, but they wear it this way, and it's on their left hip, even though they're right-handed. The reason for that is, if it were, I'm not treating it like a real blade at this point, but if it were over here and you were right-handed, this isn't a very convenient way to get it out, is it? Right? So that explains why it's on their left hip as opposed to their right hip, because they don't have to, their arm can be more wide open when they grab it. Now, the other thing with the blade up versus down is if you were a samurai, you'd have to grab it like this, and then it's coming out sort of awkward. So what they do is they have the sword like that, again with the blade up, and they reach over across like this, so that their palm actually comes in contact with this part of the handle. And then as they draw it, that's when it turns, and they actually come out with the live blade sort of facing there. And this is where I have to watch my ceiling. Anyway, so that is actually the interesting thing about how samurai wore their swords and why they were on the left hip and with the blade oriented up. Now another thing, and this is actually going to come into play in our class when we use what we call seiza, or meditation posture. It's also kind of a formal posture. So if we're doing like belt promotions or something, we'll use seiza. And basically seiza is you're sitting kind of on your feet. There's the wall. This is going to be a little bit tough because you can't really see too far down, but essentially if you notice anytime I kneel down, or a samurai kneel down, they would do so with their left leg first. So on the way back up, their right knee would come up first, and then their left. And on the way down, the left knee goes down first, and then the right. And the reason for that is, if I were to put my right knee down first, and then someone were to attack, and I had to pull my sword out, it's going to hit my leg, and I'm going to cut myself. And same thing, if I'm already down, and I bring my left knee up at the same time, my sword's going to come right across my leg, and I'm going to cut it. So that is why when we kneel, we always put our left knee down first and then our right knee up first. So that's a little bit about a bokken and what it's useful for. In our weapons class, a lot of times, when I trained in weapons class, we'll actually sort of use other weapons against this because Okinawan weapons were used by the people of Okinawa sometimes to fight samurai. So what you see as traditional weapons, which we'll talk about some other day, they would be trained to use them against these swords, except actual katana, not bokken. And there's some sort of interesting aspects to that too. But anyway, it's a little bit about weapon history and samurais and their katana and how they used them. I hope you guys are having a good week, and I hope we'll be back at class soon. And in the meantime, feel free to send me, if you have questions, like particular questions you want answered, particular techniques, anything like that, feel free to just send it to me. And I can either make you an individual video to answer the question, or we might be able to set up some sort of a FaceTime or something, or I can include it in upcoming videos. I think that once we get back together, I might still do videos every once in a while, just to kind of give you an extra, something every week, or if something, if I'm reading something interesting or whatever, then we can do that too. So I think this is actually going to be a neat medium once we're all back together to do a little bit extra for you guys. So I'm kind of looking forward to that too. I'm really looking forward to when we're all in the same room or the same place practicing our karate. So anyways, take care of each other and have a good week.